Hey guys, it's Karen here, and I'm with Whiskey Sour. Having a little bit of a reflective day today. Lost my grandmother this week, and she had a massive stroke, age 92. And so it didn't come as a surprise. She had been in a home for a little while, and so when I got the phone call, I didn't feel shocked or surprised. Sad, you know. I really love my grandma, but it's really what's so surreal right now to me is that this whole week has been blogs about regrets and sadness and depression and loneliness and isolation, and we touched on suicide and a bunch of other things. And I heard around the same time I heard about some other some sad things that were kind of going on as well back home, and you know, it just kind of just seems weird that all these topics that I've been covering for about the last 20 blogs in a row all accumulated in this one phone call where I got kind of a whole bunch of bad news from different areas of the family. So it's I feel really surreal right now. Not really sure why I'm covering all these topics that, you know, I seem to be pretty much over. My thought is always that if I can make it through depression, if I can make it through all those lonely, isolated times, then maybe I can share with people out there who need it. That's my thought. It's funny how these kung fu kicks, like I mentioned in previous blogs, still come and get you. It doesn't matter what you think you're doing at the time. I'm sitting here thinking I'm doing, you know, something good by sharing a bunch of these topics, but as it turns out, here I am yet again, learning from my own words, it seems. So somewhere along the line I've got the fundamentals down of how everything's gone since I've been in my depression and getting out of it, but then here I am again, learning stuff. So it's all very bizarre and surreal right now, but not bad. I feel okay. It's just a lot of reflecting. You know, when someone dies, you tend to do a lot of reflecting, and I am concerned about some other family members that are going through some stuff right now too. So it's a bit heavy. I would say it's a bit heavy right now, but I'm okay. I wrote a blog today for Gramma, and I just called it "Thank You, Grandma. I will do my best to honor you." And it has to do with legacy and what that word means. There's an ongoing joke on my dad's side of the family. This is my grandma that I lost is my mom's mom, but on my dad's side of the family, there's this ongoing joke that if all of us Stevers pair up with really great spirits along the way, that the Stever blood will be watered down and then just reach a gentle simmer on the stove instead of the boil that it has been just on full high for generations. Stevers are very hot-headed, very passionate, very artistic, creative fighters. That's kind of a good way to describe our family. And we're very passionate about love as much as we are about our work. We are about as hot-headed about protecting our families as we are about winning a fight. And we live and breathe music. Like I wouldn't say we're a mathematically gifted family or scientifically gifted family. Maybe some people are in it. I do have one sister who's really good at math and stuff, but for the most part, we're pretty artistic people. And we're slightly demented, for those of you who know us. And we can be really overwhelming at a function or anything that we attend. But I like all those things about the Stevers. It's good. It's just that every generation in the Stever family seems to have found a gentler counterpart. And my grandpa Stever married a wonderful woman in my grandma Stever, and they're both gone now. But maybe that's our need to be controlling and dominating, or maybe it's just we look for people who will balance us out. It's just always been that way. You got these hot-headed, passionate people who find really gentle, loving, angelic types, you know, throughout the family. My dad, like many of his brothers, found really gentle, dare I say, subservient women. And most of my aunts, like my mother, seem to be angels and have probably put up with more than their share from the Stever family. My mother's side of the family is very different. And this is my grandma and my mom's side that I just lost. And Mom came from two angels. Seriously, my grandpa, her dad, and my grandma who just died, angels, beautiful, wonderful, loving people. My grandpa was one of the sweetest men on earth, and my grandma was a consistently loving, nurturing mother. She was just wonderful. And when she passed away on Monday morning, she's 92, massive stroke. She was somebody you could count on for anything. You could go to her and count on her. She lived a very good life. She had, there's 25 great-grandchildren. We got a really big family from her. And I'm sad about it, but it's a very long life that she had. And my saddest moments, perhaps, came from seeing Grandma at my mother's bedside when she was dying. And Grandma felt that that was the wrong order of things. You would hear her say, "Why couldn't it be me and not Betty, my mom?" And so Grandma felt that burying her child was worse than actually losing her own husband. So that was really, Mom's death was probably harder on Grandma than anybody. So the idea of them being reunited right now is pretty amazing to me, and very emotional. That's the emotional part of it, is the reunion that that her and my grandpa and my mom and dad, they're all up there. But I was struck with a thought today that Grandma was the last of the generations that are directly above me to go. I lost my grandpa STEVER, my grandma STEVER, and then my mom's mom and dad, and then my mom and dad. And so, yeah, I have cousins and aunts and uncles and everything. But just as far as the direct line of my grandparents to my parents to me, I have now nobody above me. So I was kind of struck with that thought today. I've been thinking about the word legacy today and what it means to leave your legacy. We think of it monetarily. We think of it as who will carry on a family name, and we think about who will pick up the family business. I think of the word legacy more like what piece of my grandparents and my parents should be kept going. What parts of them should continue, but what parts of them, not what items do they have, or what business did they run, or even the last name. It's just what part of them in their character should be kept going. And that's kind of how I view a legacy. And the problem I see with material legacy, or anything that's monetary, is that a disaster or a fire or something can take away that shrine, or and it's nice to have a museum or a shrine or something that you can do to dedicate, or people do that where they'll have a picture shrine or something up, and that's lovely, and I think we should do those things too. But those things can be destroyed. They're man-made, and if that's the only legacy that you are keeping of someone, you could be setting yourself up to have it all just destroyed at some point. My grandma was a very gentle spirit. She was tough and consistent, but she was ever so compassionate and loving. Wonderful woman. And the biggest way that I could ignore her legacy would be to not practice the best parts of her character. My mother was not gentle and compassionate by accident. She had this came directly from her parents, why my mother was the angel she was. And so you got two angels giving birth to an angel. It's absolutely, it would be a mistake for me to not to carry that on. And they worked hard to be loving. And they worked hard to break down barriers with their forgiveness and their love. And I consider it a slap in their face to not practice those things that they tried very hard and worked a good portion of their life to instill in their children. The best way to carry on our loved one's legacy is to keep their character intact. We can do this by taking the things we have learned from them, the love, the forgiveness, the compassion, and show it to others. This shows the world that your family name actually means something. We argue a lot about who will take on a name when somebody gets married, and if you have children, whose name will they have? Well, if your name doesn't mean anything, if you've put absolutely no work into your name actually meaning something, then it's really no good to carry it on. It just is just simply a name. And I would ask you guys out there is, are you able to pass on the best of your traits, and who, for those who have gone, the people who have gone before you, are you able to take the best of who they were and actually pass that down to the generation to keep it alive, to keep it going? Do you feel that has been watered down? Do you think it's been lost? Are you able to recapture this, like some scrapbook memories? Are you able to, maybe possibly, things that you feel have died, the good characters of people who have gone before you, if you think those have died, are you able to reintroduce those to people? And can the next generation possibly get to know them, even if they never knew them, simply by the character traits that are passed down? And how are you able to do that? And I think these are some of the questions I'm going to continue asking myself too. I just wanted to kind of prompt that out there. I signed off today with my blog, Passing Love Down the Line. And it's really, really important. It's, when I look back at all my grandparents and parents who have gone before me, what they have left is love. That is what they've left. And, you know, I tease about the STEVER family a lot. They were very loving as well. And I think it would be doing them a disservice. And it would be a severe slap in their face to not practice the things that they worked so hard for. A woman of 92 years was on this earth for 92 years, dedicating herself as a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother and a wife. And she worked hard and put in a lot of years to see that people were taken care of and loved and felt needed and felt wanted and felt like they were part of a family. So does that have to die when she dies? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I read a quote today from Dante Hall, who said, "I would want my legacy to be that I was a great son, father, and friend." And I really like that quote. I think that is a good legacy. And for those of us who have received this legacy from someone, what are we doing with that information? It's fine to say, oh, she was a great grandmother and a great mother. Okay, great. What are you doing with that information then? What have we received from this great son, this great daughter, this father, this mother, this brother, this friend? What's the point of them leaving that? What's the point of them doing all that work? What are we going to do with these good things that we've shared? Those are the questions I'm asking myself today. So I'm thinking a lot about legacy and what it means to keep something alive. Just because someone dies doesn't mean all those things die with them. They don't have to. It's up to us whether we want those things to die with them. And it's up to us to keep it going. So I'm going to work really hard at that and continue to work hard at and not have my parents' lives and my grandparents' lives be in vain and for nothing. You know, it's just, what's the point then? You know, if they touch lives and then they die and then all the things that are good about them dies with them, that's unnecessary. We can stop that. We can prevent that. And I think each of us in our own families have someone who has gone before us that we can keep the things that we love about them alive and going. So I encourage you guys to do that if you've lost people as well. If there's things that you have to actually bring back to life, I think it's important. Really, in this day and age, really, really, really important. So that's my blog for my grandma today. And I'm just going to continue to think about her legacy and what she left and what we can keep alive out of it. So I want to thank you guys for all your emails and all your comments and all your love. Every day I am so amazed at how loving you guys are. Just amazing. So thank you very much. So I will tune in with you guys again tomorrow. All right, until next time, from Whiskey Sour and me. Rock on, guys.